So there's one narrative which people in the crypto space seem to have forgotten. As you can see here on the Bitcoin price, we've had 2 days over the last 2 days where we've just seen about 5% recovery here in the Bitcoin price. Today, so far, has been a relatively flat day, but there's one key headline which people are not accounting for, and that is that the mainland China's total daily COVID cases soar above the Shanghai lockdown highs. Remember when they had the lockdown in Shanghai? Now, what impact could this have? Well, in order to understand that, we need to understand what is causing this rejoice in the markets. Well, we saw that the US markets have opened up. S&P yesterday, the NASDAQ yesterday finished up a whole percent on the NASDAQ. And Bitcoin was up 2.5%, which was great. This was a bullish move. And we covered off yesterday that the Fed minutes, the FOMC minutes, which were the old minutes from the meeting earlier this month, showed that many of the Fed officials want to start considering slowing the pace, and they were very, very dovish in their comments. That is one of the reasons why, if we head on over to the Fed rate monitor tool, we can see here that the market, 85% of the market, priced in the fact that we could see a 50 basis point rotation. Let's just get a refresh of that. It's moving every single time. Okay, it's 80% now, but the majority of the market are expecting this 50 basis point move, which is a pivot, right? It's a move from their previous 4 75 basis point rate hikes. But this is the elephant in the room, and this could become a narrative which could explode over the next few days, which we need to be very, very aware of. Remember, what are the Fed officials trying to do? They're trying to bring down inflation. What has been the things that have been causing the inflation? There's two aspects. There's the demand side and there's the supply side. We know that the Fed can only control the demand side of things, okay? And in order to not crush demand, they need to do it very, very carefully. But if China and their lockdowns continue to increase again, if they go back to their severe lockdowns, if they start causing more pain in the supply chain again, that could lead to inflation to have another notch back up, and this could be horrible. Okay, remember, we get a reading early December for the November CPI. That's going to be an important reading because that's just before the FOMC meeting where a lot of the markets are expecting that pivot to 50 basis points. So keep an eye on this narrative. This could be something which pinches us when we least expect it. A few other things to bring you up to date on as well, and that is that the Binance US have gone ahead and looked to bid for Voyager. Yes, Voyager. So remember, FTX were going to go ahead and do this deal, but CZ came out on the news earlier and said, we're going to go back in with another bid to see if we can get it, since FTX cannot meet their commitments. Remember, we covered off on a previous video, the normal Binance could not acquire, okay, because of where they're based. So they're having to do this through Binance US, who would be acquiring Voyager. So CZ looking to go in and do that. Also, in other news, we've got that the Binance CEO sows doubt, right? And I wanted to cover this off because this is really interesting. I don't know if a lot of you guys were following this. I have been while I've been here traveling. And that was that CZ tweeted out, right? Now, if we go back a step, we know that a lot of this FTX collapse happened when CZ tweeted, right? CZ tweeted and alerted a lot of people to the fact that he was offloading his FTT tokens. Now, this created a lot of doubt in the markets, right? It caused a lot of pain for FTX. And obviously the rest of it ensued, which rightly so unpacked itself. But what he's since done was he's done a similar tweet casting some doubts on Coinbase. So for those who aren't familiar, we know there's been a bunch of issues around Genesis, right? Genesis Trading is a big lender in the space. Their parent company is DCG. DCG owns Genesis. They also happen to own Grayscale, as well as things like CoinDesk, right? But in Grayscale specifically, there's been a FUD that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which holds a bunch of Bitcoin, could not actually be holding those Bitcoin. And this FUD really started spreading out. So Grayscale came out and said, we're not able to show you evidence because we don't want people knowing where our address wallets are. Coinbase then tweeted to say that no, we are holding the coins for Grayscale. Do not worry, we've got the GBTC crypto on Coinbase in custody. Now, obviously, he started casting doubts. CZ started casting doubts. Now, since then, he deleted the tweet, right? Because he said that Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, reached out to him and said that the numbers were wrong. So I wanted to point this out because we've got to be very, very careful. I've said time and time again, we do not want to be putting anybody on a pedestal. Coinbase is a publicly listed company where you can go and get their financial information. Binance is not. So for CZ to be tweeting that out, yes, he's doing this whole proof of reserve things. Yes, he's got the best exchange out there. We cannot put these guys on pedestal. And I definitely don't want to be giving CZ a free pass to just be tweeting FUD. He needs to know his influence. He needs to understand the effects of his tweets, and he should not be just retweeting things from news articles. Maybe the average person with 100 followers can do that. You, with the potential to create bank runs on crypto exchanges, should not should not fundamentally be tweeting stuff without doing your research. You've got to hold yourself to a higher standard, particularly after you saw the impact of what you did with FTX. Now, in the case of FTX, of course, it turned out okay, right? You had to protect your funds, you had FTT tokens, you wanted to do what was right, and you were transparent in sharing the fact that you were selling your FTT tokens. Fine, I get it. But you didn't need to chime in on the Coinbase issue with the whole Coinbase and GBTC issue right now. You just did not need to chime in. So I just wanted to weigh that out, because I think a lot of people are quick to jump on the bandwagon with CZ, but when he does something wrong, we also need to account for that as well. So let's not put anybody on a pedestal where if they do something wrong, we cannot say something about it. I don't think that's healthy for the industry or the space. Okay, that brings me on to a few interesting things I wanted to cover up. And the first of which is that there was 10,000 Bitcoins on the move from a wallet linked to the Mt. Gox attack. These were 10,000 Bitcoins which have not moved for 7 years. And this is getting some people panicking that these could be dumped into the market. Personally, I don't think this is a huge issue, right? We've covered this off before. If all the Mt. Gox money wanted to be released, we've got enough liquidity in the space to be able to deal with that. And I don't think it's all going to get dumped in one place at any one given time anyway. So they're on the move. We need to be aware about it. But again, I wouldn't be too concerned. And yes, they're being tracked. You can track it all the way to all the individual wallets. It's gone to a bunch of different personal wallets that people are keeping an eye on. Okay, so just wanted to bring that to your to you, so you don't get caught out by that. This is more important though, and that is the adjusted MVRV. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and bore you with all the details here, but what I want to show you, you remember in that video a couple of days ago, I spoke about the fact that the majority of people holding Bitcoin right now are in a loss. And this is what this chart shows, right? It shows the market value to realized value. And what I want to show you in particular is I want to show you the lows. If you look at the level we're at now, crossing this green line, we have not seen these lows since 2009, going back to 2015 and 2012. You can see these are the bottoms of each bear market. So this is a great bottom indicator, which shows us that the pain right now, if you look at the length of this purple line, which is the difference between the current price here at the top to the realized value, you can see that we are in huge pain right now, okay? And this is really what is causing this right now. That you can see that 37%, you're at 63% roughly loss, okay, for everybody accumulated right now. So that is painful. And the number, we're now in the small echelon percentage of days which have been worse than this. There are not many days that you can count the number of days that have been worse than this in crypto. And that is crazy. If you go over 12 years of crypto trading, there are only a handful number of days that have been as bad as this. If you're feeling the pain, if you're part of this fear and greed index score, which is sitting at 20 right now, I feel you. It's been a really painful, deep, prolonged bear market with huge failures, systemic and systematic, right? From FTX to Luna to Voyager to Celsius, it's been long. But if you've been through it, you've just experienced the bear market. And the reality is, not only have you experienced a bear market, from a percentage perspective, this is not as deep as the other bear markets. Yes, from other metrics, we're starting to see that we're creating this bottom. But if you look at just all-time highs down to where we're at, we're still not down to that 85% level. You could go down to 10,000 on Bitcoin right now, and then you'll be at those levels of previous retracements from all-time highs to where we're currently at. So yes, it's painful. Yes, we've been to the 15,500 just a couple of days ago, but the reality is we're starting to see a little bit of strength. Now, there may be some lower lows. I don't want to say that we're out of the woods yet. I personally have got myself ready with limit orders at 14,000. Maybe we never hit it, but I can't be reckless enough to not be prepared for those levels in case we hit those levels, okay? So I will be prepared for those levels around 14,000 if we do hit that. If not, then great. I'm happy with my positions, and I want to see Bitcoin start to work its way back above 17,600. Remember, that's the low from the June low. When we fell down from Terra Luna and the rest of the stuff back then, we held support at 17,600, and we were able to work our way back up to 25. So what I don't want to happen now, remember from technical analysis perspective, when you have support, normally it turns to resistance. I don't want this to happen. I don't want it to turn to resistance and that 17,600 level be a level which we find difficult to break back up to the upside. Let's also bring out our EMA ribbon. And you can see here on the daily, we're starting to see a little bit of weakness today. We want to see more strength. I want to see more strength pushing us into the EMA ribbon. Otherwise, we're not going to have the strength to break through 17,600. So what I don't want to see is some weakness miles away from my EMA ribbon and we just do this. That would be painful. So I want to at least see us go up to there. Even if we need to come back down afterwards, build some strength, and then work our way through 17,600, that's a better way of doing it. So I am cognizant of that level here. Also, if you bring it down to the 4-hourly chart as well, and just zoom in, you can see we're struggling to get that nice volume break of the 4-hourly EMA ribbon. You can see us coming down to test it. We need to bounce from here. We need to get back above 16,800 here in the short term to keep our little uptrend going up towards 17,600. If we zoom that in even closer to the hourly, you can see exactly what's happening here, right? We're having a little move. Let's just take a look. You're having a little move. You're calling off. You came back down. You moved again. You came back down. So now you need it to bounce from its hourly EMA ribbon and go post a higher high, and then we can start trending our way up here on the hourly chart. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now, in order to aid us on doing this move, we need the dollar index to continue to behave. And the dovish sentiment from the FOMC meeting yesterday will be in our favor, which is huge. So here in the hourly, we're getting a nice rejection from here. This is good. Now remember, normally, if there's no FUD in the markets, dollar index moves down, those hours Bitcoin can benefit from. But right now, you can see Bitcoin's having a couple of hours to the red at the same time as the dollar index is having a couple of hours to the red. So this is interesting because it shows that the FUD around the crypto space specific, which is crypto-specific issues, continue to be there. And this is the problem with FTX and the whole issue around this, right? Because up until this point, markets were risk off. And when markets are risk off, you will always see that NASDAQ will fall, risk assets will fall, and therefore Bitcoin just fall as a consequence of that. Not an indictment on crypto itself. But since the FTX saga, that has changed. There's now an indictment on crypto itself. People are falling out of love with crypto. And this is that final capitulation where people will literally leave crypto and we'll pick up the pieces and get ready to build for our next bull run. Hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu update here on my iPad. If you appreciate this type of content, regardless of where I am, regardless of how the lighting is or how we look, just to deliver you guys this information in a timely manner, make sure you let me know in the comments. Don't forget to go watch this video here. Check out the link in the description to my free technical analysis course. Absolutely free. Go check it out. It won't be free forever. Learn EMA ribbons, learn Fibonacci retracements, learn all the chart patterns so you're ready to take advantage of the next bull market. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.